What do you want?
I'm not here to fight with you.
Well, then you've come to the wrong place, haven't you?
You can hate me all you want, Eden. You can, but you need to know that your brother is hurting right now.
Yeah, good. Do you want to know who else is hurting? Imogen, his wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is completely understandable. But marriage breakups are sad and messy for everyone.
Are you seriously trying to make me feel sorry for Levi right now?
I'm trying to get you to see this from the other side. You and Levi have come so far. Do you really want it to end like this?
You're trespassing. I need you to get out.
Your brother needs you right now. But you are so busy making this about yourself that you can't even see.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Right, sorry I'm late, Sophie. I couldn't get a parking space out there with all that film crew.
I'm surprised you were driving. Don't get pulled over by Rose.
God, they're everywhere. Oh, yeah, with a speed gun.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's a bit busy out there. Do you have to wait half an hour for a lasagna in the diner?
I know. Couldn't even, and you had to eat it stood up.
Did not go well.
Are you okay? Are you
good.
all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, I'm well.
Good.
As always.
Good.
We've both had a fab week, haven't we? So we're knee deep into a 2017 Rioja and we're going to do a podcast, aren't we?
Yes. I'm going to try.
We're going to attempt it. Right, I must say, though, I do have a few things to go over before we get crack-a-lacking, okay?
Ooh, and
that is, yeah. Stick around, listeners, because we're going to get through this, and then Sophie's off halfway through. She's got to go. She's got places to be, people to see. She's off, aren't you? So, your say on the bay this week, we've got a little surprise. Stick around later in the episode because we've done it. We've managed to get JK watching Homers.
Yay!
JK from the Neighbourhood Rewatch.
So
do you want to find out what a neighbour's, lifelong loyal neighbour's viewer thinks of Home and Away? Stick around. He's here later in the episode, isn't he?
Yeah. Thanks, JK, for stepping in, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah. Part-timer.
I'm sorry.
It's normally me swanning off. So don't worry about it. Don't worry. Are you having a good time? What are you getting up to?
I'm going on tour. Kind of. I'm being a bit obsessive. So obviously my favourite band, the Foo Fighters, are in the UK right now, or have been, depending on when you're listening to this. And I'm going to 5 of the shows. So I've had to watch a lot of Home and Away in bulk and talk to you. And I'm not around for your Sound the Bay, so unfortunately not. But thank you, JK, for stepping in.
Yeah. By the magic of podcast, she'll be back next week.
I will, yes.
But she'll have had 3 weeks off. So, you know,
but you won't
it's all for you. It's all for you. So well, have a fab time.
Thank you.
Have a fab time. Don't forget us. Come back in one piece, because last time you came back with COVID.
I did. I did. Oh no. Yeah, I did. I'll try not to. Try not.
Yeah,
I'll come back with a drummer this time or something instead.
Whatever, just not diseased. You know.
Okay, I'll try. Can't promise anything, but yeah, I'll try.
How was Home and Away for you this week? The age-old question.
It was good. It wasn't like mega, the drama that I love. I need the drama. Need it. But it was good. I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed I love to see the fact that Stevie's back, because I've really enjoyed her and I didn't want her to leave when she did. So, I'm glad that she's back and I'm glad we've got her on Screamer Cash again. So I'm happy, really. What about you?
Yeah, same. It picked up a bit. Oh God, thank God, last week's in the past. Picked up again. I really struggled last week. You know this. And when we saw Earlier in the week, and we had the whole Brie and Rem. I thought, oh, God, my eyes were rolling, thinking, gee, I can't do another week of this. But luckily, they were gone quite early on in the week, and we got onto
Yeah.
some good stuff. So the pace was much better.
Yes.
And love it or hate it, we were back with Tanae and his crumbling life, which I quite enjoy watching. So yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah.
And there's been a few shoutiness. There's been a bit of shouty this week. So
Yeah.
been a bit of confrontation. So
Yeah.
I feel like we're building up to something again.
Yes.
Coming.
Yeah, definitely. I tell you what, though, I think I texted this to you again. What you said about the pace of things. I started off the week getting annoyed with a couple of people, and by the end of the week, I'd got over it because they've changed, and they weren't still annoying me for the same reason. So I think I texted you because you texted me saying, "Oh, so and so's annoying me," and I was like, "Give it a minute because you'll get over it because it's only for a couple of episodes and then they become a bit more bearable again." But to not drag it out for 5 episodes has been good. I can do 2 days of being rolly eye with someone, but then I need them to get back to snap out of it or whatever. So
yeah.
yeah.
And I don't know if it was me. Have you noticed there's been like a lot of short scenes?
Yeah. A lot of
There's been like
bipping here and there,
flipping
everywhere.
back and forth. Yeah, have you noticed that?
Yeah.
The scene seemed a bit short. I don't know if that's a deliberate thing to make it feel like it's going faster. It's always fast anyway, this show, isn't it? But it definitely helps on those episodes because of the block storytelling that we have. Definitely helps on those episodes to sort of have quick, short scenes back and forth.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, if you've got
Sometimes
7
it can
minutes.
be a bit.
Yeah, because I think we've got roughly 7 minutes between the ad breaks, haven't we? Pretty much. And if that whole 7 minutes is a scene that you're not enjoying so much, it feels like forever until the ad break. But if you've only got a minute of a scene and then you're on another one and then you've got a minute of that scene, and I love it the way they break it up with the diner scene, with a comedy scene with John or someone. So you've just had something that's like annoying and you're like, oh God, like this again. And then you get a John scene and you kind of go, oh, I like this, I'm happy now.
Yeah.
And then you go back to something else and I like that. I like maybe 3 or 4 scenes before we get to the ad break, which is quite nice.
Yeah, you're right. I was watching. That's another change. That's a recent thing. And we've spoken a few times about the story stitching together better, and integrating. But I think it's happening as well.
Yeah.
So there has been some subtle changes. So
there has.
I
Yeah.
quite
Maybe we've
liked
just
it.
got ADHD and we can't concentrate for more than 4 minutes on a scene.
Maybe we've got something.
We've
happening.
definitely got something. Yeah. Let's not open that can.
Oh yeah, not at the start of the app. We've got to try and get through it. Right, do you want your headlines then, Sophie?
I do.
Right, let's do it. So Eden is back from Imogen's and has a few choice words for Levi. Justin and Leah worry about Theo's recovery. Tane decides to face the music and meets with his lawyer. And the film crew have a proposition for Palmer.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.
Right. Worth a brief mention because we picked the week up at that awkward meal, you'll remember, at Salt. And it was Remy and Stevie, Brie and Nelson Manfun. Brie, it's this realization, isn't there, that their exes, Brie and Remy. And so Brie ends up cutting the dinner short. It all gets a bit awkward. Nelson Manfun follows her. And
Can't do that because
you've got months of this. You've got months of it.
It's killing me. I can't breathe.
He follows her and he still wants to take her out, and there's something going on there. I'm asleep by this point. However, what was more interesting about this was that the manager, Nelson's here because of this film. He works on the production of this film that's coming to town with Stevie. And he rings up JP, or the location manager, isn't it? That rings up JP and says, I want to meet you about where we're going to film this movie. You and Alf, managers and the surf club, the committee, and what have you. And John's quite excited about it. He's loving this idea. Alf is absolutely furious. I mean, Alf was like lukewarm at best to the whole idea. Sus from the beginning, wasn't he? As soon as he heard that outsiders were coming to the bay last week. So he thinks it's going to be too disruptive. They want the whole north end of the beach. It's all sounding very sort of mirrored, because I'm imagining a lot of the locals complain about the home and away production doing the exact same thing at the north end of Palm Beach. And then all the bucket load of tourists coming through like us. So it's all a bit at loggerheads, and Alf's like, you need to shut this down, John. John goes and meets up with Nelson Mandela, and they have it out, and he reminds him, doesn't he, that there's a $50,000 compensation fee and a movie credit. I mean, that you don't have to tell John twice, do you?
Snatched his hand off, didn't he? Oh dear. 50k. Can we just talk about the magic number of 50k? Wasn't that how much the donor recently donated? And this was Alf, wasn't it? Secret donor.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same?
That was the black hole in the surf club's finances, was it? Just not 4 weeks ago or something, maybe 6.
Yeah. It also doesn't seem like a lot of money to me.
Does it not? God.
Well, how long is the
money bags?
Well, how long is the film? This is meant to be a big Hollywood blockbuster film, taking over the entire North Beach
for 3 months. Oh,
for 3 months. It doesn't seem like a lot of money. They're going to make millions off this film. I thought, stingy. I thought that was a bit considering Alf put his hand in his pocket and forked out 50k 4 weeks ago. The fact that a film is giving them 50k, I was like, it seems a bit stingy.
Yeah, I suppose so. Now you've said it like that. Yeah, you're probably right. But mind you, they probably could have negotiated it higher if his ego wasn't massaged so much.
I'd have been like 10% of your profits from your film. That'd have been a lot more, surely.
Oh God, is that even possible? Just to film outside?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
So, I bet Stevie's not even being paid that much. She's the star of it.
Well, she's not now because she's had to fork out for the stuff they weren't going to use in the original timeline of the movie.
Yeah, and listening to last week's pod, you'll know that we found that rather perplexing. Why would she pay to move an entire movie production just to have this particular bodyguard? But we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
Jenny,
So John's going to have his name in lights in all the theatres in the land. Not theatres, cinemas.
Yeah.
And he has to go, though, doesn't he, tell Alf that he's made this managerial decision. Absolutely legs it when Alf kicks off. Such a funny scene. Johnny just goes from strength to strength, doesn't he, with the comedy?
Yeah, he does. He's great.
The way he legs it out of his office, Alf just screaming at him from inside. Alf had a few nice words though that did make me think. He said nice buzzwords like "the beach belongs to everyone," and things like that. I sort of understand what he's saying. It's going to be a space that isn't going to be usable, but then I'm thinking, well, actually, it would be the council. That would have the final say, really, as long as, because the surf club is the surf club, but the surf club doesn't own the beach. So then I'm overthinking it now, and I'm thinking, well, actually, whether you agree or not, they actually could still go and film on the beach if they wanted to. I mean, I know the film will probably be everywhere else.
I think the surf club has responsibility for things like the tidiness of the beach, and obviously they've got the responsibility for whoever's in the water and making sure they're safe and they can see them. And I think they have got a fairly big responsibility in terms of the safety of the people that go on the beach.
Yeah.
picking up syringes. We've seen people do that before, haven't we? Like that's always seems to be the lifeguard responsibility, checking the beach for syringes and discarded things that are dangerous. And we've seen Vinny do litter picking. We've seen John do litter picking before, haven't we? Like that's
Yeah,
the
that's
part of
true.
their job, making sure the beach is safe for people to go on it.
I mean, very true. But Alf does seem to be the only objector.
He
You
is.
know,
Well,
the rest of the
he's
town are
alphaed
really
it.
he's Alfed it. Yeah, that's
He
very true.
has to be, doesn't he? It would be out of character for Mr. Stewart to be the first one to be happy about this, I think, wouldn't it? He has to be
definitely.
grumpy about this, I think. I think that's
Mm.
just right. It would be weird if he wasn't, I think, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, the most excited is Maz. Blooming heck.
Yeah. I could do hair and makeup.
She's bouncing about. I mean, all the local businesses are gonna benefit. I mean, the diner and the coffee cart are absolutely run off the feet. Like you say, can't get a parking space, can't get a lasagna in under 30 minutes these days at the diner. I mean, you know, Irene's taking bloody lunch orders on the burger phone. That's how bad it's got.
That's how bad it's got. We don't do deliveries. Okay, just this once.
I'm just like, who is delivering that?
It was Kirby. Kirby got sent out with a box.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, it might give Kirby something to do actually while the band's out of action. That might be where we're going actually.
Yeah. You didn't notice Eden put a hand up to help though, did you?
No.
She was like, okay, I'll leave you here, Curbs. I'll see you later. I was like, you could put your hand up and help. Love. Yeah. What else are you doing?
Clear a few tables. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're seeing the crew about town though. Didn't we say last week? I want to see the clappers. I want to see the rigs.
Yes.
You know, I want to see it about town because I want to see, and it is because a lot of like the diner set, even though there are extras knocking about, it's never that busy.
No,
you know,
never busy.
Yeah. So it's something different on the eye, isn't it? With all these people about. And I can't imagine we're going to see it that intense for 3 months. This is just while we get the storyline off the ground, isn't it?
And like they said, it's not even started yet because they said this is only the skeleton crew. There's going to be more crew coming. So
that's it.
And as you said last week, they'll have their own catering trucks eventually and everything. So
yes, which I want to see. I do want to see. Yeah, it could flip then. The diner could be a ghost town then. Everyone's at the La Cucaracha. Don't start that again. Right.
R.I.P.
Imogen's, yeah, R.I.P. Imogen's back from. No, she's not. Eden's back from Imogen's.
That's the one.
And that's it. Oh, and Cash runs her a bath. Bless. Oh, she needed that bath, didn't she? Which we actually saw. Which I did chuckle at. I thought we've never seen the bathroom set in that house. They just go to a weird door behind the wall, don't they?
I did like this because again, it's nice to see this is normal. You know, he runs her a bath, she gets in the bath, and he sits there and listens to her talk about her day. That's a normal coupley thing to do, and I was like, I love this.
Yeah, but come on, she was in that bath. Her hair was pristine, full makeup on.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, everyone goes to bed with a full face on this show, but yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it was nice. We just don't have scenes of couples sitting in the bathroom and chatting.
Normal stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. More of this, please. More of this. Just because it's different on the eye. You know, it's not always. I mean, it was quite a somber scene as well. She looks absolutely knackered. She's weighed down by this weight. She's struggling with all the Levi fallout, isn't she? And on top of it all, she's got Stevie interrupting everything. This is her life partner. She's trying to sort of share the load with, and she's got Stevie on the phone all the time, or coming in the door, getting in the way, or being really demanding, with his time. And she doesn't have time. This is a moment where, and Cash knows it. He's trying to make a dinner. It's a moment where she needs his undying attention, and she needs to be able to just let it all off onto him, and him to tell her it's going to be all right, give her an hug or whatever. Yeah. He does eventually put his phone on silent and and sort of tell Stevie to lay it off a bit. Just I'm work, I'm not home. Although I would argue he got them into that space, to be honest, by moving
He
her in.
blurred it,
fortnight.
didn't he? Yeah.
But it doesn't really work, and Eden's still carrying a lot of this around, this anger, isn't she? She's running around the bay like a dragon, spitting fire, and she runs into Marley, and they have a row over him supporting Levi and having him at the house, like Marley had a say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was quite defensive of Marley, Team Marley again this week.
Wait.
I was like,
hold the press.
Wow.
Are you friends with Marley again this week?
Yeah, this week is FOM, friend of Marley.
Okay.
Why
okay.
are you?
No, I'm just writing it in the book so I can keep track.
Yeah. This week, I thought he had a valid point. He didn't like he had a say of this fella moving in, and he was quite clear.
He's just a lodger, isn't he? It's not his house. It's Mac's Well, is it Mac's house? Technically, it's Dean and Ziggy's house, but Mac subleases it, doesn't she? She's just got him as a lodger.
Yeah.
So she nearly did kick Marley out at one point, didn't she?
Did she?
Remember
that now.
They had a big row, and she was like, "Well, because it was about Levi staying over."
Oh, at the beginning of the affair.
Yeah. And basically she said, "Well, you can leave." And Marley did almost move out. Do you remember? A few weeks ago.
You're right. Yeah.
So it's not like he had much of a choice. It was either that or move out. So,
I know, and I get the impression he stayed out of their way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They've sort of hidden in the house for a week, haven't they, after the whole affair fallout?
Yeah.
And Marley's been at work. I mean, he's been swamped because Stevie's put him on the socials. So he's swamped, bless him.
Yeah.
And I think he, rightly or wrongly, felt neutral from it, and obviously lets on to Eden walking past, and she just scoffs back like, how dare you keep that from me? You knew. She's made a few comments like, "Oh, and I suppose Levi's hiding out with Mac and Tane and Marley, for that matter." She's made a few comments. I don't know if you've noticed in other scenes this week.
Yeah.
And you're just thinking, but these guys, I didn't do the deed. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's your brother and Mac ultimately that are responsible. You keep out of the business, don't you? And that's what they did. They gave advice. Marley gave, not that Eden would know it, but Marley gave very sound advice to Mac, and he was dead against it. But what can you do if someone doesn't want to listen? I don't think Marley's done any wrong.
No, you can't. I think the problem is that Eden gets so involved with people and gets so caught up in the emotion of other people. She's almost as upset as Imogen, isn't she? She's taken on all of that.
Yeah.
She's like an empath. She's absorbed all of the feeling, and she feels it herself as if it's happened to her. And I think she's expecting Marley to feel the same way. And it's like, not everyone takes on other people's problems that deeply.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think she's comparing herself to other people, and it's not really fair to do that. So
yeah, she feels like the victim of Levi as well, doesn't she? Yeah. Like he's done it to her as well.
Yeah.
Well, Marley goes home then in a right foul mood. Back to the farm. Must have got the bus. And they're all like, "Oh, how?" And he basically says, "I got my head ripped off by Eden," because they're like, "Oh, what are you doing back here?" And he's like, "Whenever you feel like fixing things, be my guest." And I'm like, "Come on, I love this part of Marley. Come on, Marley." Yeah.
I can't wait to see how you feel about him next week.
Probably hated him again. I hate the wishy-washy. Do you know what, though? Have you noticed what the weeks that I like him, it's nothing to do with Rose?
Yes. And also, it tends to be the weeks where he's giving Mac a hard time and not calling up her ass. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been
Write
making
that
notes,
down.
though. I've been
Write
putting
that
it in.
down.
I've been putting it in the book. That's how I know.
Um,
Yeah.
I didn't understand. There was some sort of weird reconciliation. I don't know if it happened between scenes, on air, off air. Was I making notes and missed it? Him and Levi were best mates off after one cup of tea and a conversation.
Yeah. That was it. It was just that
Yeah,
conversation.
that was a massive UE. I wasn't seeing coming.
No.
But while that was happening, Max down rat-a-tatting on Eden's door, trying to putting her foot in it, and ends up with the door slammed in her face. Actually, when she's like, "You need to see it from your brother's side." What?
Yeah.
Like I wanted my cake and ate it. That
Yeah.
wasn't a smart move at all.
No.
And Eden basically chases her back to the farm. Must have been another bus coming.
Must be twice a day now.
I know. I thought, blimey, there's many a bus going up to the farm these days. And they have it all out up there as well. And Levi ends up sort of slamming the door and saying, "Right, listen to me. Let's have it out. You know, you need to get on board or get out." And she says, "I'll never, ever forgive you. You are dead to me," which seems really, really strong.
Yeah.
For something that didn't happen directly to you.
No.
I mean, this is like we're back to siblings estranged again in this point.
Yeah. I'm finding the Eden stuff a bit heavy in terms of her reaction to it is quite extreme, isn't it? And I guess we've kind of been bracing ourselves for this, because when she first came on screen with Levi back when he arrived in the bay, and we heard about why she fell out with him, and it was to do with her dad and the affair. We know she hates cheaters. We know she hates him for taking his side. We've known for ages that when this all comes out, she's going to explode, because we've been told all this stuff before, that she doesn't like cheaters, and she's got this chip on her shoulder about her dad and Levi taking his side, blah, 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 blah. But I just don't know. Is this a normal reaction from someone he's only been back in her life for 5 minutes? She's only met Imogen, half a dozen times at most. This can't just be about this affair. This has got to be her still having issues from when her dad left, and she in her eyes lost her brother, even though it was her choice not to stay in touch with him, because she saw it as him taking the dad's side. I don't think this is necessarily about this affair. I think this is still
this is about the
child between them, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. I think Eden is annoyed with herself as well, because she's fallen for it in her eyes. She's thinking, for God's sake, I knew what he was like. He supported dad. He's just like dad. I mean, she says, doesn't she? You're just like our dad. She says those words. I think she's pissed at herself for believing it, and I think that's why she's acting out so much. I think she's
I find this moral high ground really hard to look at. Like, I find it really hard. Yeah, I don't know, because she's no saint, she's no angel herself. And I like her. I do like Eden, but she's very, very flawed as a person.
Yeah.
And this moral high ground that she takes, it's a bit much for me. I don't know. I find it a bit.
Well, I'll tell you what will be interesting, and I wanted to run by a sort of future sort of storyline idea to you, know, because you're obviously in charge of storyline.
Am I?
So I'm running it by you.
Since when?
I think the only way, talking about moral high ground, I think we need to have Eden in a similar scenario for her to understand that it's not black and white. Because her answer to everything is like, but you had a wife, but this, but that, but that's not how Imogen feels. And it's like, it's very sort of wife, no, but life isn't black and white, is it? And I know that's a line that Eden keeps saying, shouting at her during arguments. But it would be very, very interesting if, having been so strong about this and her reaction to it, if she ends up in a similar position in the future.
Yeah.
To me, that's the only way you can undo it.
Yeah, you're right. She can't put herself in someone else's shoes. She just goes, I'm
Mm,
offended. I'm going to be angry about it. Blah,
mm,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
Although
yeah,
she's quite easy to put herself in Imogen's shoes, but maybe again, it's not really putting herself in Imogen's shoes. She's putting herself in the position of what happened to her when her dad left, isn't she?
yeah, yeah. She's annoyed that she's back where she was, picking the
Yeah,
pieces up.
yeah, yeah,
History has repeated itself.
yeah.
Mm,
Imogen's her
mm.
mom and Levi's her dad in this
Yeah,
situation. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And we already know she carried that for decades,
yeah,
or at least a decade at this point. You know, like, and we all thought that was a bit strange. Actually, grow up, get over it. We were saying, weren't we,
mm,
a few months
yeah.
back?
Especially because
Um,
Mum seemed to have got over it, because Mum was still in touch with Levi, and yet Eden wasn't. I still find that really strange. I still think she takes things far too personally,
yeah,
holds a grudge, and holds people to a standard that they can't ever attain. So she's always going to be disappointed. I don't know. Just that moral high ground is a bit too much. She needs to come down a peg. I
yeah.
think.
One to watch, I think, because
Mm,
I think if it goes the right way and it's written like something like I've just alluded to, I
yeah,
think it could end up being quite interesting.
yeah,
In the long run, in that
yeah,
respect.
yeah.
It's like when Kirby was leaving the band. She was the
Mm,
same then.
she was.
She was
Yeah.
the loudest, most upset,
Mm,
kicking off to Evan about it. I can't believe you're doing this to us. It's betrayal. I can't speak to you. It was the
yeah.
same then. This
She
is a
needs to make
pattern.
a massive fuck up, doesn't she? She needs to do
Yeah,
something.
she
Yeah.
does. Yeah, it's
Because she
got
was
to.
giving Theo the same, wasn't she? Like Kirby with the drugs arrest thing that they've just been through. I know Kirby knew about it before it happened, and it was a shock to Eden. But Kirby's actually been quite supportive of Theo
Mm,
and not as
mm,
angry. Whereas Eden was absolutely spitting fire again, wasn't she? So
yeah,
she
yeah.
just I think she expects so much of people, and she expects them to behave in a way, and then when they don't, she just gets so disappointed and so angry. And I think
Mm.
maybe it's because she hasn't ever fucked up massively in her life.
Well, well. I think it's coming. It's the only way. It's the only way, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you're right.
Something. Yeah, something's got to come.
Yeah.
Um, m- I, and then this story. So there's this big "You're dead to me, leave me, we're done" sort of blow up, and then what happens then is something that I really didn't have the energy for, to be honest. Was Mac then deciding, oh, this is all a bit fast. Like, I
Mm.
don't normally live with a lover this quickly. Well, your lover's homeless, for a start. Two, he's got enough money to
Yeah.
go and check himself into Travelodge up
Yeah.
the highway. I mean, he was booking enough rooms there when you were shagging him. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Send him up there. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
that she starts doing the round robin of all the housemates. What do you think about him moving in? But actually says
Mm.
to Marley, oh, this is too much and I don't know what I'm going to do. And he says, talk to him. She talks to him and sort of says to him, I think this is a bit fast. You've been here for a week. We need to talk about what we're doing. This has all been a bit, a bit mad since you moved out
Mm.
of Imogen's. And he actually offers to go. Like, he's dead nice about it. He's like, oh yeah, shit. Like, I've not even thought about this. Yeah, I'll get out of your way. And then she
Mm.
goes, oh no, don't instead. No, don't stay. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I do not have the energy, woman.
I don't
I
think
don't have
that's
the
over
energy.
either. I think we're going to keep coming back to this. Like, this was the fast. I don't know, maybe, but I just got a feeling that this is not resolved because, as she said to him, my heart is saying stay, but my head's telling me this is a bad idea. And I think her head's going to keep popping up and saying, do you even know this guy? Because she doesn't know him.
No,
They don't
no,
know each other.
no, no. We haven't seen them have many a conversation, actually. We've just seen
No.
them at it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, didn't he ask what her favourite colour was? Midnight sky or
Yeah.
something, wasn't it?
His favorite color is the sky when it's a
At
particular time
dusk.
of day. Very vague. Very yeah. That's
Mm,
such a narcissist reply, isn't it? But yeah.
purple. but he doesn't want to say
Purpley.
it. It's too
He
vague.
just doesn't want to say purple.
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
Get over
Mm.
yourself. You've said Sophie. Quote from Sophie. Right. Theo and Justin, hey, the garage is open and they're at work. Oh
The
my
garage
god.
exists. The garage exists. Can you believe it?
I've written on my notes here in caps, feck me.
Oh dear.
Theo's got a lot of TAFE to do.
A
Now,
lot.
I am a little bit sort of, maybe I'm just stupid and not really getting this, but he was leaving the band because of, you know, too much pressure. Then he didn't want to let anybody down. Now he's sort of on the peripherals of the band, taking a back seat, but he's thrown himself into work where there's pressure. I'm just like, is he taking a back seat or not? You
No.
know, like I think it's yeah. I'm like
It's
I'm a bit.
confusing.
Thank you. I'm glad it's not just me because I was thinking, am I stupid? Like
No, you're
you're
not.
supposed to be chilling out with all this stuff.
He was supposed to be simplifying his life, which is what we said about 400 times last week in last week's pod about him having to simplify his life and cut stuff out and not be under pressure. And this week he's been surfing, he's been doing TAFE, he's been doing his counselling homework, he's been doing exams for his TAFE. And what else has he been doing? There's a bunch of other stuff he's been doing, and it's like this is not simplifying your life. This is making things more complicated, which is why Justin keeps trying to say to him, well, you know, when you are a mechanic, you're going to have to take on more responsibility at work. And he's like, I can't talk about that right now. You're putting pressure on me. And I'm like, well, he's not wrong. What have you cut out? Nothing. You've not cut out TAFE. You've not cut out wanting to be a mechanic. You've not cut, you know, you're having to do the counselling. So you have to do the work for that. So that's the one thing that you have to do right now. But you don't have to do any of this other stuff. Why are you doing it if you're under pressure?
I know. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
No.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
And actually, well, I guess it turns out he's not actually doing the work, is he? He's trying to write these letters. This sort of mental health thing. I'm assuming it's come from the counselling he's been doing.
Yeah.
But keeps sort of being moody about it, and he doesn't quite know what to say. Starts the letter and then can't put down into words what he wants to tell Justin and Leah. That's who the letter's for, by the way. And Justin then does this really awful thing and distracts him, and then opens his paper and sees that it's these letters. Then not only that, goes and tells Leah, and then you're thinking, well, that's the end of any secret. And then he and Leah then seemingly march back up to the garage and confront him about said letter attempts, and you're just thinking, really?
Yeah, this could have backfired massively, couldn't it? I'm kind of glad that we got this out in the open though, because I couldn't take any more of these scenes of him sitting there scribbling words into a thing and then crossing them out again. So I'm kind of glad. I mean, I don't feel like Justin invaded his privacy that much, because Justin didn't know what he was going to stumble across. He thought it was TAFE work because he'd been lying to him again. Saying,
Did
oh,
he though?
Yeah,
do you believe that line?
Justin's not that smart. He's not that smart.
He was saying to Leah, oh, his mood's dropping every time he's in his books.
Yeah, but do you remember Justin's took over his homework for TAFE before and got into shit for it because...
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Theo was getting all stressed out with an assignment last time, and then basically Justin rewrote it, and then Theo said, oh, my uncle wrote it or whatever, and then he got kicked off of being a supervisor, didn't he? So I think he's got form for this, you know, taking over his work, his apprenticeship work. So I do think I don't think Justin's smart enough to think this is something else. So I don't think he was. I've forgiven him for snooping on that, because I think he thought it was TAFE work that he was finding too difficult and didn't want to ask for help because of what happened last time. So he's thought, I'll have a look at it and see if maybe I can give him some pointers. And then he's looked and gone, oh, this isn't TAFE work at all. This is something else. Took a picture of it, which is overstepping. That's when it gets bad.
Run to the diner.
That's when it gets bad. This is when it gets overstepping the mark, and then taking a picture of it and then showing it to Leah. Probably shouldn't have done that, because that is an invasion of privacy now. But I'm kind of glad because I needed this to be out in the open. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I was just a bit like, how dare you? You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I know that was Theo's initial reaction when they come to him, and then the answer to it all is to build an IKEA desk.
It was IKEA, wasn't it? It was. I recognised that
Point,
box.
the award for pointless scene of the week.
That was weird, wasn't it? Didn't really get it. Was it going to replace the desk in the office, or was it going to be
Like,
another desk in the office?
I know. And then it was like, it's going to be greasy. I'm like, for writing his letters. I don't
There's not a
understand this.
single greasy thing in that garage. Nothing in that garage has ever seen any grease.
Not even your overalls.
No, it's pristine. The floor is clean. You know. She put like a sheet down on the floor, and I was like, the floor is. You could eat your dinner off that floor. There's not a single drop of grease. Oh dear, hilarious.
Oh, seemingly they turn a corner, don't they, after this confrontation that we end up having? So let's see. Theo, he's going through it, isn't he? Bless him. It's an important story to tell. I'm just not sure I am with him enough through it, I suppose.
Do you think we're just wrapping stuff up because now that he's doing his last exam or whatever for TAFE, is this the end of that storyline? We're never going to have to hear about it again. You know, is it just telling us, don't worry, TAFE's nearly over. You don't have to hear about this anymore.
You don't have to keep asking why he's not doing it. Yeah.
Because we're listening, aren't we? We go, what about his TAFE work? You know what I mean? Is it just telling us, okay, his TAFE's
Final
done.
exam. Yeah.
So that's one thing off the checklist, and then now he's just mechanic and band.
Has he been with us 3 years, Theo? You know, you start thinking about these things, don't you, behind the scenes?
When I first joined the pod, he was doing those videos with Ryder, so that was when he first joined, wasn't it? So that's 2.5 years ago for UK airtime.
Well, there you go. 6 months to go.
Yeah.
Could be, couldn't it? Could be.
We know Matt wants to be. Well, he wants to do his other career, doesn't he? He's a singer-songwriter, isn't he? So. Could he possibly be moving towards doing that more? I don't know.
I suppose that's a question he'd probably have to ask. He's probably done a 3-year sign like they always do. So maybe it is a natural, let's wind him up.
Yeah.
See what happens over the coming months, say. He's had a tough year, the character, Theo. Anyway,
tough 2 years, I think.
Yeah. And I'm not sure whether, because Valerie was quite popular, whether they'd be tempted to bring her back at some point.
Yeah, she could come back and you know, have gone and got the help that she needed, and then, but that would mean him possibly leaving the band. So then, what would the rest of the lyric guys do? You know, we need to think about that. But that's going to happen one day. One of them's going to leave, you know, eventually. So.
Yeah, I think the band gonna have to break. I mean, they're coming up for the same sort of time. The band were there before Theo. Were they?
No, they came about on UK time. They came about 8 months after Theo, I think.
Right. So
and then
not a lot
he joined the band, didn't he? Because Bob left.
That's right. Yeah. He auditioned, didn't he? That's right.
Yeah.
It's coming back to me.
I think there's about 8 months UK wise between the two of them.
So I don't know. I think the next sort of 6 to 12 months could see a bit of change with all that.
Yeah, be interesting to see.
Right. Speaking of change, we've got Zaina, everything.
Yeah.
This week, and John's taking full credit. What do you think of that?
That's where it landed.
We said that had happened. We said that.
Yeah, we did say he would take full credit because he got them together. He had no idea they already had feelings for each other before the mock wedding.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't tell
all
him
John's doing. Yeah, but he won't believe it because he just hears what he wants to hear. John does. No, it was all me.
Get the testimonial on the website, lad.
We said that last week, didn't we? Oh dear.
Mm. And they go on. They realize another couple that's not really had a proper date. So they
No.
have this sort of. They've gone to the beach, and it's just nice to see a new couple sort of starting out, isn't it? Let's see what
Yeah.
happens before the drama kicks in. I
Yeah.
am already fully invested in these two, I must say. I think this could be the making of Xander, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
it's going to make them both more likable. I think, give them a bit
mm,
more to their each of their own characters. I
mm,
think, because the comments for Dana, as I read out on Your Sound the Bay quite regularly, they're very split on her. You know, some people love her, some people still think she's really annoying and ditzy, and shouldn't be a nurse because she's crap at her job with her mouth and everything else. So some people love the fact she's got a big mouth, and that's the reason why other people don't like her. So it's interesting, isn't it, to see?
yeah, yeah, I wonder if her partnership with Xander shifts the tide on that a bit. I guess
Mm.
we're in the perfect position to monitor that.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
But I am here for it. I think they have got the potential now, especially now we've lost Tane and Flick, who were the super couple of the
Yeah.
2020s.
Yeah.
Like, like we're always looking for the next super couple, aren't we? So I think they've got potential. Hopefully the story's right, and I'm keeping everything crossed. I really am.
Yeah.
And John is as well, which can only be a good thing. Can only be a good thing. Right. Harper and Tane are back training again. Eye roll emoji. But Tane, I mean, I'm fed up of her ogling him. Get him
Yeah.
on, love.
Yeah.
But
She's got the
Tane,
hots for him. When's she
I
going to
know,
realise that she's
I
actually?
know.
Do you know what I mean? We've
It's
been saying
really
this for
annoying.
weeks.
I
It is.
know. It's
Just
pathetic.
admit it. Just admit you fancy
Mhm.
him. Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about Eden getting involved in other people's business. Harper's another
Mm.
one, really. This guy's a practical stranger, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know she's a social worker, but
I'm
come
a
on.
social worker, and I think that guy's really hot, and that's why I'm interested in his case.
Yeah.
Yes, come
So
on,
I mean,
own it.
yes, what is it? Boot camp, sign me up. But Tane's, he's prepping for the future. He's trying to he's lining up a new trainer because he's going down. He's going to prison. So, and Harper's all like, "No, you're not. Stop talking like this. You need to fight this." And she's frustrated with him. She even ropes Flick in, at lunch and ambushes him, as he puts it, into giving him a right talking to about getting lawyered up and fighting it. And I'm a bit torn with Tane's response here. I'm torn between the guy's just accepting his fate and what the correct fate, and that would be correct. Like, he's done wrong, so he's going to own up to it. He's going to take responsibility for his actions, and why fight it when he did it? Kind of attitude.
Yeah.
And so I'm torn between that and him sort of burying his head in the sand, and it not happening. And I can't decide which side I think he is.
It's a bit of both. I think it's a little column from A, a little column B, isn't it? So I don't know. It's a bit of both. He's kind of like, I don't see the point in fighting it because I know I'm going to go to prison, so I'm not going to fight it. I think, yeah, but also it's the apathy of poor. It's a bit poor me, isn't it? At the same time, like,
yeah,
because he still feels, he still feels like he's done the right thing because he's still like, well, I think in his head he's thinking, in the eyes of the law, I did something wrong and I'm going to go down for it and I've got no defense. But in my view, I think I actually did the right thing and I don't think I deserve to go down for it. So I'm a bit annoyed about the fact that I'm going down for it. I think he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. It's driving me mad, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and it's this, and then he presents it as this really cold, I'm not going to talk to you or anyone about it, and then everyone around him is just getting insanely frustrated at him.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I'm getting a bit sort of at the end of my tether like you, I think.
I don't think I'd be
Um,
as. I mean, I think this is why we think Harper's got the hots for him, and it's more than what she's saying it is. Because if this was me, I'd have gone, "Oh, fuck you, I'm off." You know, you've got enough rope,
well,
hang yourself. I don't think I'd have
I
helped.
mean,
I don't think I'd help him. I'd be like, "Well, do
you
you
know,
know what? If you're not going to help yourself, I ain't going to bend over backwards for you."
I know, but I mean, just I'll say to you what I would probably say to Harper IRL. He kidnapped a baby. You can't change that.
No,
Like,
there's no going back from that. You have to admit, you have to plead guilty, and you have to admit that you did something wrong. And I think what he's doing is he's saying, "I'm pleading guilty," as in I know I did wrong and I know I did it, but I don't believe that I should get punished for it. I think that's where we're
yeah,
coming to.
yeah, he's doing it in a way as well where everyone's. It's almost like he wants everybody to be like, "Poor
Mm,
you."
yeah. No, I'd just be
He's
like,
really,
fuck you.
yeah,
Sorry.
he's really winding me up.
Yeah.
And actually, beneath the surface is this deep sadness that his marriage has broken up.
Mm,
Like, and that's how we got here. You know,
yes.
he wanted kids with his wife, and
So he
this,
stole one.
so yeah, this unraveled from there.
Yeah.
Like, and we've been an advocate for somebody stepping up and being
Mm,
like, do you know what? This guy's struggling.
yeah.
We don't talk enough about mental health. Actually, just the other week, it was Men's Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yeah.
Um, uh, that was like literally a couple of weeks back. So like, we don't talk enough about that. But Tane is the epitomized man. He's not
Yes.
saying that, is he? He's not saying
No.
to anybody, "I'm struggling." He's
No.
just shutting down.
Yes.
And everyone's trying to guess and join the dots.
Yeah.
Um, he's had a real hard time, and I think he deserves it off people like Rue.
Mm.
Last week, or it might be the week before. I'm losing track of weeks. Um, when it all come out, what
Yeah.
he'd done, and he was all plastered all over the news the other week and all that. He had a really
Mm.
hard time, and I think he deserved it. But then I think once the dust settles, I think people need to understand his motives and why he's behaving. He's been behaving like this for months now, and it's
Yeah.
not him. And we've had conversations this week with Harper and Flick when it all kicks off at Salt, I mean, it doesn't half kick off at Salt actually, because Flick goes in hard, doesn't she? She goes for the
Mm.
tough love approach, and
Mm.
he's like, "Stay out of it. We're not a family. We are nothing." And it ends up with Flick one running out to the balcony upset, and
Yeah.
Harper's there going, "This isn't him," and Flick saying, "Yeah, it's not him." And I'm like, somebody. To be
Yeah.
fair to Harper, in her defense, she has been the only consistent person in his corner for his
Yeah.
mental health,
Yeah. But we're not
and would
calling
have
it
come up
that,
for her.
really, are we? We're not really calling it that. Because the thing is, with the mother, we've given a reason for her abandoning her baby as mental health. We've said she wouldn't have done this. She's a nice person. She's just struggling. It's difficult when you've got a newborn and you don't know what you're doing, and it's mental health, and it's postpartum depression or what. We're not really said it, but that's the kind of angle that we're going at with the mum, that she needs
Yeah.
help, she needs support, they were talking about having assessments with counselors and psychologists, to make sure that she's mentally capable of looking after the baby and all that sort of stuff. And it's like,
Mm.
well, if she was going through something that made her abandon the baby, why is it not being thought that Tane could be going through something that made him kidnap the baby?
Mm.
Because that's not something you do if you're in your right mind, is it?
I
It's
should
not.
hope not.
It's just not. And I think
No.
it's so obvious that people that are compos mentis don't go around kidnapping babies. There's got to be something wrong with you and your brain.
Mm.
Whether that's a
Mm.
temporary breakdown, a meltdown, like a consequence of the marriage and all of that sort of stuff that we're talking about, that he's not dealt with. Because let's face it, this marriage ended and he dealt with it by sleeping with anything that walked for a few weeks and then
Yeah.
kidnapping a baby.
Mhm. Mhm.
And nobody seems to have noticed that he's completely different, apart from us. So
No.
it's
No.
driving me mad.
It's driving me mad as well. And this week there were scenes where, because of all this, because what happens is, long story short, Felicity sleeps with the lawyer, doesn't she? That's been assigned
Whoops.
to him.
Yeah.
Harper goes to meet the lawyer without his say so. She finally convinces him to meet this lawyer, but meanwhile, it happens that Felicity, unbeknownst to her and said lawyer, is it Marshall? Marshall, the
Marshall.
lawyer.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, Marshal of the law. Um,
Oh, yeah. I thought about that.
um,
Oh,
it just
God.
so happens that they've hooked up, which was a huge moment. I was watching that actually. That
Massive
hookup.
moment. Yeah.
Is that because there was a many intimate issues after Felicity's sexual assault?
Yeah.
Um,
And this is the
and there was
first guy after Tane, isn't it?
yeah, and there was a moment where they stop and
Yeah.
pause. That TV pause,
Mm.
and Felicity, you can see the cogs. You can behind the eyes. She's like, "I'm ready for
Mm.
this now." So I guess that was a huge moment. For us who have been watching the whole story arc.
Mm.
We're like, "Oh God, Felicity's finally moving on here."
Yeah. Yeah. This was a big
not
deal.
not from just Tane, but from her assault.
Yeah, it's
She,
everything. Yeah.
yeah. So a huge moment, and she was getting back on the saddle, and it bloody turns out to be Tane's blooming lawyer, and he finds out, and he takes it really bad, and ends up missing his check-in with Rose at 1 o'clock down at YCPD. So then that causes him all sorts of legal issues. He ends up kicking off, thrown in the cell because he's not cooperating. He's not speaking like typical bloke. He won't say what the problem is because it's feelings, innit? Can't talk about feelings. And then he's got his ex-wife turning up at the blooming cell door, having a go at him, and he's like, "You're supposed to be leaving each other alone."
Yeah.
This was the first moment we've heard from Tane since the split where he's been rattled. Is it the first moment? I felt like it was.
I think he's been rattled the whole time. I think this is just the first time he's been visibly rattled because as we were saying a minute ago, like the first thing he did when they split up, and they split up because she didn't want kids and he did, let's face it, we're supposed to believe this is a man that wants one woman for life and a bunch of kids with that one woman. And the first thing he did was went and bed anything that moved. And, Felicity was upset about that, but she was basically told to deal with it. You made your bed, and now I'm going to bed everyone else. And then the first time and they've been split up for ages now. They've been split up for a long time now. And he's been telling her for weeks, in no uncertain terms, you are not part of my life. We are not married. You are nothing to me. She's finally decided to move on and feels ready to move on. And he absolutely takes it like a child.
Yeah.
So again, is this part of him not dealing with stuff? Is this part of him needing counselling, needing help? Because again, it's out of character. I don't know.
He's just lying there, isn't he, in that cell, silent, ignoring everybody.
But I don't feel for him. I don't feel sorry for him.
I do, but it only extends so far.
Yeah.
Because there's the other part of me is like, he's done some really bad shit.
Yes.
And you can only defend that so much. He needs his day. I think, for morality or whatever, he needs to have that day in court. And he needs to pay for what he's done. You don't just take people's babies.
No, I think he needs that penny. I don't know how we're going to get there, but he needs that penny drop moment for me, because he was so horrible about Sonia before we knew what Sonia's story was. He was saying to Rue, like, well, if you struggle, you get help. You just ask for help. You ask your family. And he's struggling right now, and he needs help, and he's shutting everybody down. And it's like, have you not realised that you're actually in the same position in a way as Sonia was? You feel like you've got no one. You feel like you've got no options, and you're not reaching out and getting help from anybody. And maybe she was in that situation as well, and you had zero empathy for her when she was in that situation. I feel like he needs a penny drop moment. Maybe we need, now she's come forward and said she'll be his character witness. Maybe
Yeah.
we need a conversation between the two of them so he can see I'm doing the same thing. I'm shutting people out and I'm just trying to ignore I've got a problem. I'm burying my head in the sand. You left your baby on the sand. You know what I mean? There's some similarities between what she went through and what he's going through. And I think he needs to realise that I think he thinks he did the right thing. He's being punished for the wrong reasons. He's the victim. Poor Tani. Nothing ever goes right for Tani. And he needs that penny drop moment for him to realise that he's actually struggling and he needs to ask for help. And no man is an island and all that shit.
Yeah.
I just want to shake him. I just want to shake him.
Yeah, I do. Yep. Yeah, but how do we get there though from where we are now? Because there seems to be a gulf between the two, doesn't there?
I don't know. I really don't understand where we're going to go with the court as well. Because, I mean, are we supposed to believe that Sonia's going to turn up and be his witness, and then magically he's not going to go to prison because of her say so?
Well,
You know what I mean? Is that where we're going?
well, can you imagine if just that one character witness?
Yeah. I know
don't
he stole my baby, but he was dead nice to her and bought her nappies. You know what I mean? Also, don't make him go to prison for kidnap.
Brought her back in the end.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which is kind of what he thinks, and I don't want him to get away with it.
I mean, the lawyers finally got through to him, and he was talking about pleading guilty and trying to get the sentence reduced. Like, the sentence is an inevitability.
Yeah.
Let's try and make it as best as we can, sort of approach to his defense. But I don't know. I mean, he and the lawyer, he's sort of rehired, isn't he? Get me out of here and then we'll talk, was how it was left. But luckily Rose got to work before Sarge did the next morning, because Sarge is a right grumpy one.
He likes to uphold the law, and I'm not being funny, but Tani's a kidnapper. He's got no defense.
And I think he's got to go in, hasn't he? He's got to go in. I think it would be a mistake if that's not written into it. And then I'm like, but I haven't heard anything about Ethan leaving.
No, I haven't.
So, I don't know. I'm nervous about the future and how on earth.
I was nervous as soon as this whole storyline started. I was nervous because the kidnapping a baby. I mean, we're talking about Mac not being able to come back from having an affair with a married man. How do you come back from being a kidnapper?
Marilyn managed it. Marilyn managed it.
That's true. But we all love Maz, don't we? So
we all love Tane, don't we? Just for different reasons.
We do, but he's not acting like Tane right now.
Right, it's time for your say on the Bay now, and as always, we stop what Sophie and I are saying about the Bay and we talk about your thoughts. However, we're going to switch it up this week because Sophie, as we announced earlier in the episode, has had to dash. So the wonderful JK, host of sorts from the Neighbourhood Rewatch, is here to fill in her shoes and give us his lowdown, because he's been watching Home and Away. We did it.
We did it. You did it. I thought Adam was going to be the one who crack and start watching Home and Away.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I thought he was going to be one who's going to be doing it. I thought, I thought because of his job, he does a lot of work outside, so he sits and watches TV while he does a lot of work outside of it. And I was like, I'm going to come around one day and he's just going to be watching it. But no, it's me, the one who's cracked.
You'll come around one day and you'll be like, we've made a huge mistake 35 years ago.
I think there's room in my heart for both, if I'm honest.
That's what I said. That you're sitting on the fence with me.
Yeah, I think is it the Grinch where he realizes his heart can grow a little bit bigger? I think that's me. I think my heart has realised actually I can grow a little bit bigger here, and I've got room in mine in there.
Yeah.
For, it's
This is sounding good. This JK. I was prepped for a battering.
Oh no! Oh yeah, I've got plenty of points.
Oh right, okay. All right, we'll get to it. Yeah.
I'm just buttering you up right now.
Right, as always, before it's going to be your say this week. So we're parking. If you've tuned in, listeners, for your usual comments and say this week, come back next week. We're not bothering this week. Sophie's going to catch up with all your comments on the social media. But do remember, you can get in touch with us. We're at Coastal News Pod on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and anywhere else that Sophie or I have created an account. You can email us, coastalnewspod@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts. Sophie will be back in business next week, reading them all out, and I will be off the hook and won't need to. And she'll just be telling me what's going down online. But until then, we're going to be amused by JK, lifelong Neighbours viewer who has crossed the divide, the great Aussie divide, and he's given Home and Away a whirl. Now, I must say, I came on to the Neighbourhood rewatch a few weeks ago, did the week, thought I did okay, and then you turned around and said, I'm going to watch 3 weeks of Home and Away, get the backstory, and show me up.
I'd like to think I'm a hardworking person, but that's generally because there's a lack of talent there. So I have to put the hard yards in. So I was like, there's no way I could do what you did, which you did fantastically well. And everybody loved you being on that episode. I got so many messages about, oh my God, how great is Si? How funny is Si? And I was like, I can't do that. I know I can't just show up and watch a week and be able to be as good as you were. So I've had to put the hard yards in here. So I've been watching for 3 or 4 weeks now.
Blimey. Last week was a bit shit though, weren't it? Do you know what I mean?
I came in at a time when the Justin and Leah wedding had just happened, the whole drug thing.
Oh yeah, you missed the good stuff.
And then there was the big reveal of the affair as well. So I don't know. I suppose as a newbie, it was a fairly good time to come into because there was a bit of aftermath, and then there's stories coming from said aftermath, and there was the Tane nicking a baby thing as well.
Which I had to explain to you, didn't I?
Yeah, and I'm still not 100% sure what the motivation is, but
yeah, I think the lads had a massive breakdown.
Yeah, well, he live tweeting before, like everybody's just like, oh my God, Tane's not the guy I thought he was, not the guy he used to be. He definitely seems like he's taken this divorce very hard, and he's trying to get through it by doing these things, and it's just not working out for him at all.
Yeah, see you later, mate. He's not even a resident. We found out through Babygate. So
what? Yeah. So he doesn't even live on the bay.
He lives there, but so apparently you're not. Residency's not guaranteed. Even though he owns a business, he was married to an Australian. You might be able to help us out with the legalities here, actually. And he's there a lot. That doesn't mean anything because he tried to adopt this baby before he stole it.
Okay.
But was declined by dogs. So then he thought, mine anyway. Have you ever watched Storage Wars?
Yes.
No, this is a bit of a curveball now. Well, you weren't expecting that. So that woman that just goes, mine.
Yes.
That was Tane. Tane with a baby.
Well, yeah, these are not the actions of a man who's firing on all cylinders. Is happy with what's going on in his life right now. He's making these really rash decisions. And like stealing a baby is a pretty rash decision, and you're probably thinking, you're not going to make more rash decisions than that, but he's making them
Yeah.
Daily at the moment.
Yeah. Did you? I can't remember where you started watching, but did you see him at the stakeout with cousin baby?
No.
Oh
no,
God,
no.
oh God. When he was all over the news, he was in some safe house somewhere with cuz, like just another Kiwi. Like, what are we gonna do? You're sick of the heat. Yeah. He's not thinking straight. We'll get more into it. We're already going into it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to remind you of your Coastal News headlines, right? It's just to
Okay.
give us a jog of sort of the topics that have gone on in the Bay this week and the stuff that the Coastal News have covered, and then we just want your say on the whole thing, okay? So before I give you your headlines, though, general overview. I know when I came onto the Neighbourhood rewatch, I was generally like, straight off the bat, like there was a couple of differences. I'm like, you can't compare these. They're satisfying different things that I need these shows, you know. And then I was like, and it's so damn bright. So what was your first? You've watched Neighbours your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
What's your top level thoughts?
Ooh, top level. I have actually wrote down something here as well because I thought you'd ask me this. I just wanted to say as well that You're Saying the Bay by JK is brought to you by Simba Hybrid Mattresses.
Are you sitting comfortably?
And about 500 other adverts as well. But we'll get on to Channel 5. But watching Home and Away, I don't know, because it's an Australian soap, so I'm going into it going, okay, I'm watching Australian soap. I'm expecting something like Neighbours, and kind of it's like learning another language. There's bits you recognise. There's kind of beats, how a language is put together. There's beats that you recognise, and there's words like, especially English as well. There's I know that word because we stole it from these people. And it's kind of like that with Home and Away. It's like, okay, this is an Australian soap, but it's slightly different, and it's going to take a lot of kind of practice and living in it to really get a hang of it. And like I said, it looks really dark compared to Neighbours. I know you said about the brightness, but I wasn't prepared for how different the colour grading was on this show. And it's a lot more conversational based as well, I think. Like, there's been no real kind of, I mean, maybe I've just come in at a weird point, but there's no kind of action sequences I don't think about. It's a lot of people having fairly blunt conversations with each other about things.
Okay.
And Neighbours definitely isn't that at all. A lot of Neighbours is these people don't have a conversation with each other, and that's where the conflict arises, and they go and do something stupid without checking with someone first.
Got you. Yeah. That's interesting observation. Yeah, because actually there's been because of the affair fallout, there's been quite a lot of like, you pig, and then like fighting, and then there's been another story where there's like, I can't believe you took drugs and lied to me. So there has been quite a bit of stuff simultaneously that has been a little bit. I've took a step back there. Now you've said that, and I can see that now you've said it. But actually, something that Home and Away is blamed for quite a lot is to being quite plotty, and that's always seen as negative. Like every conversation has a point to a plot. Like there's no sort of fluff convo. No one's sort of going, "Oh, make us a tea, Dal." Or like every conversation, it moves some sort of plot along.
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely found that. Like, I've had to pay a lot more attention than I do in Neighbours, if I'm honest. Because if you miss a conversation, you've missed something. Whereas, maybe not so much. They're having a conversation until they do the thing they're gonna do. In that scene, it's just kind of filler until that point.
Got you. Yeah. See, when I watched Neighbours, I felt it was more akin to a Brit soap in that respect.
Yeah.
But I probably didn't realise it at the time. It's only now you've said that to me that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean with like there's room in my heart for both, I think, because you get one thing from Neighbours, and I think you get a different thing.
Yeah,
from Right? And it is pointless as fighting over these things. They're two completely different things.
Yeah, I felt the same. There's no point watching Home and Away thinking I'm going to get what I get from Neighbours, because it's going to give you something different.
Yeah. And on the whole, I've actually really enjoyed what Home and Away has given me.
Oh, cool.
I actually think I'm going to drop this bombshell right now. I actually might think we'll continue watching it. You can't see this, but Sai is fitting his fist into his mouth.
Well, looking at the spoilers as well, I think we're building to something. Tane's court case is coming. I think it could get quite interesting. I remember I was texting Sophie last week going, oh, you know, obviously JK's coming on the pod while she's away. And I was like, and last week was awful because I really don't like Brie and Remy. Okay, we'll get on to it. And I was like, I can't believe we're introducing him to the show when it's like this. And I'm like, oh my God. So fair play to you. You stuck through and still saying that.
Okay.
Do you want your headlines?
Yeah, hit me with these headlines. I'm ready. I'm ready and raring to get into these characters now.
Right. So your headlines for this week on Coastal News. Eden is back from Imogen's and has a few choice words for Levi. Justin and Leah worry about Theo's recovery. Tane decides to face the music and meets with his lawyer. And the film crew have a proposition for JP. Okay. Feel free to fill around the edges. So we'll go. So the affair, right? We've got. I think this is quite fascinating, the angle that we've got here, because we don't often get this on soaps generally, not just Home and Away. But as you've probably discovered, Levi married to Imogen, who, by the way, we've only seen in about 3 episodes. We don't really know much about Imogen. She was this elusive Imogen for quite a while, and we don't really know much about her. He was estranged from Eden since they were teenagers. Their parents split up. Dad had an affair. He took Dad's side. She took Mum's side. And Eden's, for some reason, still carries that into adulthood, right? So that's where we're at with that. He's obviously had this affair with Mackenzie, and it all blew up a couple of weeks back when Eden caught them kissing at the car. Tell us your thoughts.
Well, Eden is, out of all this blowing up, Eden is the one who seems to be the most affected by this. Even more than Imogen. Like Imogen, like when Levi came and said, "Listen, I'm having an affair," it's kind of like she knew it was coming. She got home and he's like, "We need to talk," and she's like, and she was putting it off because I think she knew exactly what was coming. Yeah,
she's like, I need a shower. I've been on the red eye.
Eden has really, and I don't know if this is just because of all the stuff with the dad, or does this girl just make stuff about her? Because it feels like she's going around going, I'm outraged about this. Why is nobody outraged about this as I am? Because everybody should be. And like, I don't know. I feel like she's somehow trying to make this about her.
Oh yeah. She's even made her parents' divorce sort of about her. Like she's like, this is how I felt about it. You betrayed me and Mum. But I quite like that normally you would watch an affair on a soap and you'd be like, wife finds out or husband finds out, and then the wife's distraught and we follow the wife and she cuts his clothes up and she slides down the wall in tears and and all that stuff. But we're actually, I think it's because Imogen is a guestie, right? Like it's plot, right? It doesn't really matter who it is. Okay, she's very girl next door. They met in uni. It was all explained. They met in uni and it was a whirlwind romance, yada yada yada. And she's very timid and she doesn't seem to have friends and family around, which is bizarre that she can talk to about this. She can only talk to her sister-in-law that she's only recently been back in touch with because they've been estranged. But we're actually seeing the fallout from an affair, not through the one of the directs. Yeah. And I was saying to Sophie on last week's pod, actually thinking about it, like it's never told that story. Like who, when a marriage ends, there's loads of relationships around it that end up ending through nobody's fault of their own. And I think it's quite an interesting way to tell it.
Yeah, it is, because
even if she looks like a selfish cunt.
She does look very selfish, but yeah, there is that wider fallout from it. You get, it's like a bomb going off. You get that impact and explosion, but then the ripples are felt elsewhere. And it does feel like Eden is going round and going, "You need to pick a side." Like she picks a fight with Marley because he lives with Mackenzie. And they're all buddy, and Mackenzie's confiding in with this, that, and the other. She's like, "Well, you've picked your side, so fuck you. The line's drawn here. We're no longer friends. You're clearly on Team Mackenzie, right?" And then she seems to be going around and trying to find out who's on. Who
knows what and who? Yeah. You see, Marley he comes from like he's Aborigine. He comes from a very sort of principled family, and when he found out about it and it was happening in his house, that was a whole thing. And he couldn't agree with it, but he's ended up keeping the secrets. Now, I have a love, honestly, week to week. Like, if you listen to the pod, like 1 week I'm like, "Yay, Marley!" 1 week I'm like, "Can't stand the fucking," like. For some reason, I can't get on board with Marley. For some reason, he gets me and then he loses me constantly.
No, I feel that. I feel that. I think this week he was like, he made an effort. Like, he was speaking to Mackenzie about it and letting her say her thing, and he was giving her good advice. And then he makes an effort with Levi, even though he doesn't really approve of this, and he's getting shit for it off Eden. He's like, "I'm still going to make the effort, and I'm still going to try and keep harmony." And yeah, this was the first week I was, I actually quite like this guy now. He's doing sensible adult things here.
Yeah, I quite liked it when he came on and he was like, "What you doing home?" He's like, "Well, I've just had my head ripped off by Eden." So whenever you want to sort this crap out, Levi, be my guest. I was like, "Oh, I like him again."
Yeah, but he made his point without being a dickhead though. Like, he wasn't going around being confrontational. It's just like, this has just happened. You need to know about this, and it'd be great if you can sort it out because it's causing problems for me.
Yeah. Fair enough. And fair enough. I think we see him tell Rose about it. He and Rose do not work. Like, I think that's unanimous. Yeah, that's unanimous.
The whole thing with her making a decision whether she was going to charge Marley over like assisting. That's
as if that's a thing.
Yeah, that's.
So as Sarge just made me decide, I'm like, what the hell? Sarge deserves to be locked up. But yeah. YCPD, Yabby Creek Police Department, they're just not worth the paper they're written on. Their badges are fake. A whole lot of them. Rose, for me, I've said this, she's not a convincing police officer, but she's definitely not a convincing girlfriend for Marley. I just don't feel them at all. I don't feel them at all. When you look at couples that are just starting out, like Xander and Dana.
I was a little bit disappointed you didn't give me the headline because I have a lot to say about Dana and Xander.
Go for it. They
are honestly my favourite couple in soapdom right now.
Yes,
so cute together. So cute together. I don't know if it's because Xander looks a little bit like Adam as well, that I'm like, oh, I like this guy.
All right.
He's definitely got an Adam vibe for me. But yeah,
well, he's a Hemsworth cousin. Him.
Is he?
Okay.
Yeah, but I like this guy a lot. He's just a cool guy. And then the way him and Dana's adorable.
And she's a little lifeguard.
She's a little lifeguard. She's a bit of a hot mess, but not too much of a hot mess that you wouldn't put off getting a relationship with her. There's no massive red flags there. She's just on the right side of the hot crazy scale.
Yeah.
And they're just a really cute couple. And then they've had this one night stand, and then Dana freaked out, and it was the first bit of comedy I got in Home and Away, I suppose, as well. She's behind the counter, and Irene's like, "Oh, fucking I see what's going on here." And she figures it out straight away, and then like there's the whole awkward thing. She's like, "No, I'm just gonna burn my phone. It's just easier at this point if I just never get this phone back, and I'll just get a new phone and just live a new life. That's just gonna be easier than the embarrassment is from getting this new phone." But then, like the stuff they've done this week with, realizing, oh shit, we haven't had a first date yet. So Xander goes and makes a little movie night at home. He gets all the light, kind of like my background here. He's got all the little lights going, and he's got a little snuggle corner going on, and the popcorn, and just really, really, really enjoying this couple at the moment.
Yeah, I think they're going to be the next big ship. Because I haven't met a viewer that isn't into this. I think the chemistry's right between the actors. I think it's got potential to be great. I just want to see it stay like this. I want to see them blossom. I don't want any drama. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's that temptation on a soap, isn't there, to give a couple drama. I don't think they need it at this stage.
I think soaps generally go two ways. They either go, right, okay, this couple gets drama from day one, or they just become this bland couple. And it was nice to see Dana and Xander just having these little kind of realizations when, she's getting ready for work, and, they're talking through walls, and they realize, oh, we're not had a date. So he goes and do something about it. And then you've got John trying to claim credit for it. And they're like, oh my God, this is awkward. Get this fucking guy away from me. And then
do you not love John? You have to get on board with
John. I do like John a lot. I do like he's the fun older character you want in a soap. I like this. I like this guy a lot. He just kind of gets him feel as people do. And like, has he lived there a long time, John? Yeah. So he feels like this is his place. So it's his everything that happens is his business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He is the gossip. He is and a soap ensemble needs that.
Yeah.
Right. When something needs to get spread about, John is the vehicle at Home and Away. He's straight to the diner ladies. There was a really funny, the last sort of 12 months, it's expired recently, but he had a really funny storyline where he won last year on like a charity event. He won a year's free coffee in the diner, and he had like a little card, like he had to get a stamp.
Yeah.
And he was in there all day waving it around, going, because he won't. He's a tight git. He won't spend any money, and he won this free coffee. So that's been a whole thing, and it recently expired. So he's back to paying his coffees again. That's been quite fun. But yeah, it's funny. Years ago, when John first, John's been here like nearly getting on for 20 years now, but he was an absolute dragon at the beginning. Nobody liked him. It's funny how his character has sort of morphed into this comedic gossip, which is required. Like, you definitely need it, don't you? But we had other characters. We had like an older character called Colleen and things at the time that were that vehicle, and then they've sort of morphed him into this, and it's the best thing they've ever done. And I would say, even we talk about Dana and Xander pairing, putting Dana in the lifeguard with him,
they've got really good chemistry together.
I want between the flags.
Like, I just want to see getting about the beach, because their rapport is really, really good. It's like it's that older generation mixing with the generation, and that those viewpoints not clashing, but in a comedic kind of way, and just like you can't say that anymore, kind of thing, and you can't do that, and then the old man not quite understanding what's going on. It's really fun.
He recently, John, as well. He recently got so like Tinder. So the Summer Bay version is called
you've got
Smolder.
Smolder. You've got an in-universe one. I like it.
Yeah, Smolder. So he tried Smolder out, and then he got this date, but she turned out to like be a big scam artist, and she fleeced him for all his money. So, poor John. Yeah. So he's a lonely old man. He used to be married to Maz.
Really?
Yeah, he and Maz were married. They've got an adopted son together, who lives in the city somewhere. But yeah, they're exes. Yeah, so a lot of people want them to.
I feel like no wonder it's just arsing around now, because if you marry Marilyn and then get divorced, where are you going to go in life from there, really?
The only way's down.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
The only way's down. So yeah.
So you're like, yeah, I've had a good run, but I've had a good run with this, but I'm just going to arse around now until.
Tried a bit of Smolder, didn't work. Yeah, so I'll just annoy Alf day in, day out. I prefer John as an older characters go. Let's compare him to Alf. We try not to, but let's compare him to Alf. I think John crosses the age gap much better than Alf does.
Alf is still very hot-headed, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a galah. Grumpy sod. Yeah,
because they've got one of the headlines that you said was, this film crew coming along and trying to do stuff, and John's he's like, this is going to be brilliant. This is going to be fantastic. This is going to be fun. This is going to make us money.
Movie credit.
Absolutely. And Alf's just like, no, never, over my dead body. Completely.
The beach belongs to the people.
Yeah. But yeah, John seems a little bit more open about this and a little bit more, I don't want to say progressive, but
John's your man. If you need some out of that surf club, John's your man, isn't he? You're not Alf. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the person who brings it to Alf and tries to turn him around to the idea.
I was laughing, when he says to him, because he agrees to the 50 grand and a movie credit without Alf say so, and has to go in the office and tell him, and you just see him running out, and all you hear is Alf going, "You flaming what?" But because Alf is president, but John's manager. But Alf, even though he's president, he doesn't. Everything has to go to a vote. It has to go to committee. So he can kick up a stink as much as he wants. The committee aren't going to snuff their nose at 50 grand. So
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, I think John knows that as well.
What do you think of the movie storyline? Bodyguard Cash, Stevie. That is Sophie's favorite story right now, and I'm a bit like take it or leave it sort of thing. Like, tell us your JK take on Stevie.
I think Stevie's a really good character. I think she's really interesting. It's not often you get these things where, like, in universe she's famous. Like, people kind of you don't get that storyline very often. Like, you remember Entourage, that TV show? That was the only TV show where it's like, okay, let's pretend this guy's super famous, and we'll just run with it. And that's what Home and Away's done. They've gone, well, Stevie's super famous. Everybody knows who she is. Let's just run with it. And I think that's a really interesting character, because you have these characters interacting with it going, oh my God, it's, some people get nervous, some people get a bit cocky about it. And like, you have all these different reactions to this character, and it creates kind of interesting dialogue each time. Like when Marley has she notices Marley's surfboard and the art and stuff, and he's just like, oh my God, like she's going to post on the socials about it, and I'm getting orders through. And it's a really different interaction that I don't think you get on many TV shows.
I think I tweeted the other week, Stevie darling, if you're out there, can you retweet the podcast?
But then feeds her character as well because she bulldozes people into stuff. Like she's trying to bulldoze. She's bulldozed Cash into taking this job basically, and she's tried every trick in her book to try and do it, and just about convinced him.
Do you not think that's just bollocks though? Can you imagine being cast in a movie that's like already been written and like a location's already been booked for a cabin in the mountains?
Yeah.
Some ski alp or something like in the Alps. Can you imagine? And then you cast an actress who goes, "I want to move it to the beach because I want this particular bodyguard." They'd just be like, "Jog on, woman."
Yeah, because I don't think she's that big a star in the universe, is she really? Like she's
No, there was this like horror movie called Death Throes. We actually saw some of it. They actually made the movie.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
In
That's
universe,
good.
we saw some of it. So it was quite good. And then so she's like, this is her breaking out of the mold.
Yeah.
And obviously this whole stalker thing. So the stalker is a massive horror movie fan. That's the
Right.
whole link. But I don't think. So the other week we saw Cash rugby tackle stalker in a car park. I'm not sure, you know.
Yeah, I'm not convinced either. I don't think stalkers make themselves that open. I think
No.
he was probably. I feel he was just a slightly boisterous fan who was also probably into some dodgy stuff on the side. Like you never want someone coming to your house and checking your hard drive, do you? Like
No.
And that, unfortunately, he's got a bit boisterous and tried to get a reaction out of this woman, and then decided he's going to attack her. The police have then gone checked his hard drive and gone, yeah, this guy's a wrong un. But yeah, and they might have found stuff that go, yeah, you squint at it and you go, okay, yeah, maybe that means he's the stalker as well. Fuck it, open and shut case, done. Just to wrap it up. But yeah, I don't think that's done either. Perfect.
No, I don't. And we'll never know. Like, we've not seen any of that. Like, that's just like forgotten. And like, I mean, we had a theory that like Stevie was doing it to herself at one point. Like, was he a decoy? Like, there was loads of weird stuff, and we were like, is she doing it to trap Cash? But then we're like, why would she date Remy if she wants Cash? And then we were like, maybe not.
That is the other thing I like about Stevie, is that you don't quite know what her motives are. And because she is an actress, like when she gives this whole emotional speech to Cash about, oh, I want you around because I'm still really scared about this and I still don't feel safe at night. And you're like, is that the truth? Or is she just, she pulled her hair out of her nose and waterworks have come and she just put it on a little bit? You don't quite know. She's got a smile that you don't quite trust.
Yeah.
And you don't quite know if she's being 100% genuine with her. And I really like that about her. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, is she into Cash? Is she not? You don't quite know, she's landed all right with Remy. He's a good looking bloke, but does she, I don't know, does she like danger? Does she like being saved? Is she a bit, you just don't know, do you?
No, that's it. We don't know enough. That's the whole point. So you're left with all these questions. Quick, I'll tell you a question. How old is Remy? Do you reckon?
Oof. I've got a little quote about Remy that I wrote down. He's definitely midlife. I'd say he's probably similar age to me. I'd say he's maybe on the wrong side of 30. He's the wrong end of 30, early side of 40.
Right.
He's possibly the only midlife crisis guy where I've seen it actually work out for them. Like, because he goes and rides motorbikes. His ex was Brie, who's this stunning hot blonde. He's dumped Brie to start seeing a movie actress. This band that he's in makes enough money from just to take 3 months off, and their lead singer does not bother. Like, they're constantly taking sabbaticals, from what I believe.
Oh yeah. But I think, the band have gone from one disaster to another. They've been like on hiatus indefinitely for a few months, but we all love that because it was awful.
But this guy's clearly making enough money to do that.
Well, yeah. Well. The magic money tree of Summer Bay, I think they've been feeding on the magic money tree of Summer Bay.
Oh, they've been a little bit.
Yeah, their album was bankrolled. Remy's got rich parents.
Okay.
But he broke away in rebellion, or in rock and roll rebellion from the
He definitely have vibes of the guy who lived with his parents till 35.
Yeah, but according to his wiki page, he's only 28, the character, and you tell it, okay, don't insult my intelligence. That's what I was looking up. There was a huge Twitter argument about Remy's age a few months ago, and everyone was like, "There's no way he's 28." I was like,
"No, that guy doesn't look 28."
Yeah, double. And he I think what the poor actor, bless him, he's probably trying to play 28 because they're so childish. But yeah, the band. So Kirby split the band up, went solo. She got offered a solo deal by some hot shot record label. This was a big thing, sort of the tail end of last year, and she couldn't go through with it yet. But she's getting paid royalties still from her solo stuff. She seems to be the only one with any sort of income from these royalties. Eden refuses to get a job. I mean, who knows who's paying for her shampoo? Must be cash.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The band's finances are sketchy at best because they're doing nothing.
Yeah.
None of them do anything day in, day out. Like, how are they affording all these takeaway coffees at Irene's? How?
Well, I just thought they'd had a hit and they're just living off it. They've put an album out and it's done all right, or they've had a Christmas #1. I don't know.
No, they have had. So they have had a couple of songs out. There's a music video on YouTube as well. You make me fall apart.
I like how they do this. Like you said with the Stevie and like the horror film, they've shot parts of that. So they've actually done a song and a music video as well. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean it's in Summer Bay at the Lighthouse, but yeah. 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 So who knows how they're affording anything, right? And also at one point Salt, the restaurant, was going under. So Lyric were the house band. Every fortnight they did a gig.
Okay.
And Salt, when they obviously
and that was driving people away.
Yeah. But when the gigs had to stop, Salt was going to go under. Suddenly that's okay now. Like everyone can just like not turn up for work because they're sleepy. Yeah.
Where are they playing? Because like it's kind of like a bar it's a bar kind of / like kind of lunchtime cafe kind of downstairs, and then it's a bit more of a nicer restaurant upstairs. So where were they playing?
So the restaurant upstairs where Salt is, the tables were cleared and there was a stage and lighting rig put up, and they were in there, and everyone was like,
well, they're making more money because they've got actually paying customers in the restaurant now.
Well, yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That's I used to work in a restaurant in the city centre that was part of another building. So it was a celebrity chef, and it was he's very renowned. He's on TV all the time, so that was enough to kind of keep the restaurant ticking over. But then every Friday, Saturday night, they clear this restaurant out to cater for the other side of the building, and they'd have this so like we'd have this it's a fine dining restaurant. It's nice, classy music going on, and it's all nice and lovely, and these beautiful dishes are coming out, and then literally 10 o'clock. DJ starts playing Venga Boys, and you just like, and then you just watch people leave in their droves. They're like, "Fuck this! Can we just have the bill, please? We're just We can't be here anymore. What the fuck is going on? I imagine that's exactly how Salt was when this band were
That's
playing.
it. That's it. Except it's less fine dining, more like pizza.
Posh pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza,
Pizza
but,
in the Ocean View. Yeah.
pizza, but $10 more than you'd pay elsewhere.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And this band was so big, they were doing gigs in like a backwater town, above a surf club. Yeah. But the fans hate them. So we were debating this last week. I wonder if it's sort of them, like sort of unraveling them.
Yeah, relining a little bit.
Yeah, they film the Aussie soaps so far in advance as well. It takes time for that to happen. So it's quite welcome that there's other
Yeah. Are you guys on I think Neighbours isn't like a 6-month kind of from shooting it to getting it to screen is about 6 months generally. Is that similar? Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're another 8 weeks behind Oz. So it's like 6 months to Oz.
Yeah, because you've still got that weird different pace thing going on.
Yeah. So have you seen any of the Stevie spoilers then?
No, I'm not a fan of spoilers in general, so I've kept well away from everything.
We're not going to do spoilers, but
juicy stuff coming.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Yeah. Oh, I was already watching anyway, Si, but I'm even excited now. Yeah, I really like Stevie. I don't know what her deal is, and I want to know what her deal is. The Remy and Brie stuff was kind of fun.
Oh, go on, amuse me.
I don't believe this. This Remy girl is clearly on the rebound because I don't see what her connection with this director guy is at all with the Man Bun guy.
Oh, Nelson Man.
Nelson Man Bun. Oh God, this guy tries too hard, doesn't he? He tries far too hard to be like mysterious and I'm a director and I've got a big vision and like he's watching. So
oh my God,
oh God. Stevie's trying to convince him that this scene will work on a beach as well as a ski lodge, and they're acting it out. She's acting it out with Rem, and he's just like, oh my God, he's just, oh yeah, I see your vision. Oh yeah, it's so wonderful. Oh my God, this guy.
Sophie texted me saying that's you. Because I said to her when we go to Palm Beach, I don't know if we've mentioned we're going to Palm Beach, and I was like, we need to reenact some like famous scenes, like for this, for the pod.
Yeah.
So I was like listing off famous scenes we could reenact on the beach, and she was like, oh, for fuck's sake, she was like,
he's not one of them.
You're Nelson Man Bun on the beach, like.
Start growing your hair out now, Si.
You just look at a man like that and think you're too smooth, you're no good, right?
Yeah. Remy is just looking this guy as a rebound, just going, okay, well, he's the person I'll get under him to get over Remy.
Yeah.
And then I'll move on to the next thing because she's not expecting him to be round long either. So she's like, okay, this will be a bit of fun for a week or two.
Yeah.
I think now that it's been revealed that, the film is going to be here. So, because somehow this studio has agreed to it because Stevie's just bulldozed this into action somehow. And she's like, fuck, man.
Somehow.
Yeah. So Bree's like, oh, fuck, this guy's hanging around. I was not counting on this at all. For this guy to be hanging around any longer.
I feel like she did it because she saw Remy with Stevie.
Yeah.
And was like, I can do this too. Kirby talked her into it. She didn't want to do it.
I like their friendship as well. I like Remy and Kirby's. I think that's a good. It seems a slightly more realistic friendship than.
They drink a lot of wine.
Did you? Yeah, and that's how you make friends.
Absolutely.
Look at you and Sophie.
That's our experience. Yeah. We don't drink that much, do we? Talking to you, I'm like, oh my God, we don't stop. But yeah, Kirby, bottle of wine, telling Brie to go for it, I think is what's done it. Because Brie wouldn't have done it on her own.
Yeah, no, that was good advice from Kirby as well. It's like, listen, like Remy's already moved on. He's dating a movie star. That's got to be pretty devastating to somebody's ego. Like, just go and have fun. If you want, if even if this guy is not your type, which Brie said, it was like, this guy isn't my type. She's like, well, just go have fun. You're single. Just go live your life a little bit, and then
whatever. If he's giving it, if he's offering, take it.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Exactly.
YOLO. I think she spent her whole 20s, you see, in a marriage, and he was beating her up. I think I told you, didn't I? And Remy. So her and Remy actually got together through an affair. He sort of like saved her from this awful marriage. And then she actually
a shoulder to cry on comes up
at the dodgy motel on the A road out of town, and every soap's got one. And she Lassiter's, but it's just like the central. She actually killed her husband, and like he basically was like beating her up and stuff, and he took her out into the bush. Never good sign, is it, if you're in the bush?
No, you don't want to go.
And no, he's knocked her unconscious. He was digging her grave when she came to, so she picked up the shovel, and it was like it's him or me type moment.
Fuck.
So she ended up shoveling him into the ground.
You never would guess with Brie, because she's such a. Like you said, the Kirby needs to talk him into sleeping with this guy, like, and to kind of move on. Like, you wouldn't think. You wouldn't think
she's
that.
Capable. No. I think that because she's been in therapy and things since. Like, there was a whole hoo-ha with the husband's family after that. You know, like you killed him and all that stuff. And I think that's made her more reclusive.
Okay.
Like, I think she's gone into herself a bit. Because then her and Remy got together through this insane scenario, and then nothing happened. And I think the writers I love them to bits, but they did her a bit of disservice. Like, they sort of did nothing with her then.
Yeah.
You know, we'd go weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, we just, what else do we know about her, sort of thing? And now it's like, now her and Remy have hit the rocks. Like, is that all we can do with her? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I'm not because Remy's like constantly texting going, "Are you okay? Let's meet up." And I didn't know at first. At first, I thought, "Oh, maybe he's trying to break the Stevie news to her."
Yeah.
But then there's part of me thinking as well, "Oh, maybe does he want her back? Maybe he's realised that dating a film star isn't, maybe very fun at first, but realistically, day to day is probably especially Stevie as well. She's so chaotic sometimes." That maybe, he wants Brie, who is maybe a bit more solid and dependable. And
yeah, I think they want each other. They've split up. They're acting out. And I think they'll realise they want each other again, and we'll go back.
They're going to be that kind of couple.
Yeah. We're all supposed to get on board with it, but we're not going to. I'm going to call out. Don't. It bores me to death, and it was like 4 episodes last week. I was like, oh my God, I was rocking. Like, I can't watch any more of this. Right. The final point was the whole Tane facing the music, right? You've joined. He's nicked this baby before you've started watching, right? So he's up on charges. Tell us your initial Did you know what the hell was going on here? Like,
no, I knew he nicked a baby, and then I think Sophie explained it in a very long message, and I'm like, okay, I kind of because I listened to you guys way before I even started watching this, and I knew that he was with Flick, and she'd lied about wanting a baby, and so this guy's obviously got he wants to start a family, and I can understand why he was disappointed with that, and then there's an opportunity to have a family literally in his hands, and he's just gone off. Fuck, I'm gonna just run off with this baby. Just made a snap decision. Which again, someone who's, like you said, you think's having this real kind of breakdown and this real crisis and mentally is going to make these really bad snap decisions.
Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting because you've got, like you say, he's having these real strong mental problems. I think it's quite interesting how Home and Away are doing. They're doing this twice at the moment, but they're doing it on the opposite ends of scales, I think, because I know it's not a headline. Sorry, I'm getting ahead, but I think what they're doing with Theo, who's having these real hard problems, is the complete opposite from what they're doing Tane, and I like how the two are completely different. Like Tane's acting out, he's flipping out at any point, sacking people, he's not listening to his lawyer, he's not showing up for meetings, he's rejecting any sort of help. And I understand that, it was Flick and he kind of got ambushed.
Yeah.
So he was potentially going to react badly to that. But then he's got Harper, who's a bit of an intermediary, going, I'm not made up about Harper. She's maybe because what I've seen is she's involved in.
That's all she wants. Telling you.
So I did a motion that's on that is for video only there, definitely not for audio. Harper seems to be involved in a lot of other storylines, so I've not made my mind up about this girl yet, but she seems to be a good intermediary between telling Tane what maybe the more sensible, less hot-headed thing to do here is, but he still doesn't want to seem to take that advice, and he's just seemingly bent on self-destruction. Like he's just dying to press that fucking red button and just blow everything up. And he seems to be, every decision he makes is just trying to press that button and do it.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, JK. I think he's got to the point where he's like, I've got nothing left. What the hell? Bring it. Yeah. Like, why not?
Yeah, it feels like the rest of his life's blown up. Like he was married to Flick and he wanted to chat, and that's not happened because Flick didn't want it. So he's just gone, fuck it, destruction. Don't care the worst has already happened. What else can happen to me? But
yeah,
he's quite stubborn about it. And then like, what worse things can happen here? Yeah, your life's falling apart and your marriage is falling apart, and you've not got the family that you wanted to have and you thought you would have. But you could end up in jail as a baby kidnapper. And I don't know much about jail, but I don't think the other boys in there are going to take that quite well.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine so. No. I
don't think that's going to endear him to anyone in jail somehow.
It's quite interesting as well because the mother of the child, who Al's daughter Rue is seemingly befriended somewhere off screen. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, that's weird. I've got notes about Rue as well.
Yeah, well, Rue gave up a child back in the early 90s, you see. Oh. So she's got like a different sort of connection to the mother who's about, because it wasn't done in the right way. It wasn't done officially, but the mother left this baby in a gym bag on the beach in a scorching hot day. So, she's obviously not mentally right.
Yeah.
And Rue is probably one of the few people who have sympathized with that. Tane could not see that. He's like, you're a mother, like, I'm all about the Fanu, as they say. And yeah, he just could not get his head around it. So Rue has been the only one even agreeing to adopt this baby at one point. She started going through the process. But yeah, it's because she's given up her daughter. Her daughter actually, who was on Home and Away as well, a different time. So her and Rue have her daughter's called Martha, never met on screen because Rue gave up her daughter, as a child, as a baby. And then when Rue went off screen in the 90s, Martha comes in.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
who-
had that Neighbours a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like mums and kids who've never met on screen.
Yeah. So we're all like, how can you even adopt this baby? And Alf's sort of skirting around the issue to her. He's like, oh, you know, this must be bringing some things up for you. And we're all like, us long-term viewers are screaming, going, just say her name, say her
Yeah.
name. You
Yeah.
know, like,
You've told me this
acknowledge
before
it.
that Home and Away never really acknowledges what's happened and what's gone
No.
by.
No.
Which seems like a glaring error, if I'm honest. Like Neighbours is doing it. Neighbours goes the other way. Neighbours does it too often, and
Too much. Yeah.
it name drops people, and you're like, well, you know, if you watched it all your life, you know those people have never met. So why would that person know about that person, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It kind of goes the other way around. But yeah,
It's very much like, don't remind the audience how old this program is. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, and then
That
seems weird to me. It's like surely you acknowledge that heritage and use that as a plus more than anything else. Like not many shows go that long.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times has Neighbours been cancelled? Jesus.
I do like to remind you.
I think next time it's got a do not resuscitate on there. Honestly,
Someone will do it. Yeah. So it's funny because Rue's daughter was played by Jodie Gardner. Is she still in Neighbours? She went to Neighbours. Jodie
Ooh.
Gardner.
Jodie. Oh God, she's Elle. Oh God, I did not know that. Wow.
Famous. I mean, so she was on Home and Away in her younger days, and they were all partying and into drugs.
Well, the character she plays on Neighbours is a hot mess, and it has been. She's one of the she plays like the latest incarnation. They recast the original member, the original who played her as well. But yeah, she's a hot mess even as an adult. She's
so that's
okay.
So yeah, so that was put up for adoption. So yeah, so she's actually on the run in the Home and Away Summer Bay world. She's on the run. Okay. So Rue can't find her. She's on the run. She's you know. So but we're all like, go and find your daughter. At least try. You know, you're so invested in this Tane kid thing. And then there's this other element. What I love, there's so many. I'm loving the Tane stuff, probably more so than Sophie is. But like Felicity went through, she was sexually assaulted, and actually, it was probably, for me as a man, it was probably the worst sexual assault I've seen on a soap. From like shock factor when it happened, and some of the stuff the scenes that they did, I've never seen before. I was educated. Like I had no idea, you know, like when they test, you know, like after the assault and the intrusion they have to do to try and test and get evidence.
Yes.
It was harrowing. I had no idea. Like, and we were on the pod that weekend, and Sophie was sort of explaining to me, you know, this has been really well done. And that was sort of the start of the unwinding of their marriage when that happened.
Okay.
As well as the kids stuff.
Yeah.
So she then, her and Tane had some intimacy issues. So the fact that the first person, I don't know if you noticed, like her and the lawyer obviously hook up, and just as they're about to, she stops. And he goes,
okay. See, I took that as, because I know Tane had fucked around a lot once they were spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
But I got the feeling that this was her first time that wasn't Tane.
No. First time since.
Okay. So yeah, no.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah. So not only is it like moving on from Tane, it's moving on from that stuff. I'm just worried now because I'm thinking, I hope you put a rubber on.
I mean, that's always the worry, isn't it?
Charlie's in court for kidnapping a baby that he wanted that his wife didn't, and she turns out fucking pregnant. Can you imagine?
Yeah, fuck me. He would. Honestly, I think. Do you know, like when you have these, like you hear these things on the internet about like women who've got babies trapped under cars and they manage to just lift the car up. I actually, if he finds out, well, he's found out that she slept with this lawyer. If he finds out then that she's then pregnant with a baby, I think he would pick up a house and chuck it.
Yeah,
Honestly.
his lawyer.
Yeah. Oh, that is tantalizing, and I want it to happen, but I don't because that's gonna be now knowing what I know as well. That's gonna be very uncomfortable to watch, and
imagine if she has a baby to his lawyer. That'd just be. There's rumours she's leaving as well. I know we don't like spoilers, but there's rumours that Flick's up, like she's off.
Okay.
Not been confirmed by the show or anything.
Yeah,
but you know,
do they do them on contracts? Like I know on Neighbours, they generally do like you've got a year contract, and it's it's a kind of a rolling year contract, and then at the end of the year, we've got nothing for you, or we're going to give you another year.
Yeah, all these sort of 20-something adults generally tend to do like 3 years rolling.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's up. So everyone's like, ooh. And there are fans online that are like, oh, you know, she's not been seen filming. You know, they keep a close eye on stuff. So because everything's filmed on location on Home and Away. So like the fans just watch them filming the show at the beach.
Yeah, it's the same with Neighbours because everybody knows the street they film on. So people will just go and watch there and then just stuff and then put it on the internet and you're like, I'm very much of the church of I'd like to be surprised on screen rather than hear about it 2 months in advance and just, you know.
I get that. I get that. Before the podcast, I used to unfollow everything on social media. It was much more enjoyable. But,
can I ask if you talk about the kind of behind the scenes stuff on Coastal much? Do you engage in that kind of stuff?
Depends how saucy it is.
Okay, because
not really.
You know exactly what I'm into now.
Oh no,
I don't know if you want to talk about this or not. I don't. You can shut me down if you want. It's absolutely fine.
You tell me what you got. You tell me what you got.
Well, if you listen to the Neighborhood Rewatch podcast, my co-host Marissa,
I do.
You do. Yeah, no, you pay for the privilege as well. So thank you very much. If you had a Patreon, I would pay for that as well.
You can buy us a coffee.
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know that buy me a coffee thing is really cool? I'm gonna do when we finish that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna buy you a coffee. But if you want to spend it on wine, that's absolutely fine as well.
Obviously.
Actually, business idea. There's buy me a coffee, buy me a glass of wine. Can we set that up ourselves?
Yeah, get it copyrighted quick.
Okay, that's what we'll do after this. So yeah, Marissa dropped some news that Ada, who plays Leah on the show, obviously with Justin on the show, apparently they're Daniel Day-Lewis in this, and very, very seriously indeed, and live in their roles.
Method acting, I think they call it.
I'm sure they're very methodical with it as well. He looks like a methodical man.
Does he?
Yeah, definitely. He looks like he makes sure the job is finished every time.
Every time on time.
Yes.
Run seal. Yeah. Yes, apparently so. Now you know he is. I was explaining to you, wasn't I? He is actually married, or recently married, or recently divorced, and recently married. They've not been together long. To Sarah Roberts, who was also on Home and Away until recently. Bezzy mates with Ada. So there's a bit of girl code being broken here.
Ooh.
And yeah, some of the other sort of ex-cast who are all friends have all been unfollowing each other on Instagram, and there's lots of Daily Mail articles like Caster not talking to her, and
So they're like the real life Levi and Eden at the moment, because everyone's pissed off that
Yes!
they're having this affair, and
maybe
It's
that's
how we-
inspired him.
yeah, maybe, and that's now kind of reenacting on behind the scenes as well.
Tell me though, were you watching the show tonight and thinking, were they fucking when they were filming this? It's because it's all I think every time. I'm trying to look for signs. I'm like,
Yeah. Did they just linger a little bit longer? Are they doing something underneath the counter we haven't quite see? Yeah, he does add a nice little extra seasoning to what I'm watching right now.
Fair play to it. She looks great for her age.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She looks younger than
She's
Ren.
not that old. Yeah, 28. I'd put her at.
and he's a very good looking bloke as well. He's a proper man's man, isn't he? He looks.
He's an Aussie bloke. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
He waxes his chest though.
Oh, I'm okay with that. I'm not a massive fan of body hair, if I'm honest. So I'm
That's
okay
the
with that.
surfer, I think. I think that's the
Yes.
sort of, you know, I've got to be on international television with no clothes on, carrying a surfboard.
Yeah,
so I'll wax it.
that was another thing about Home and Away. I was like, oh, there's a lot more flesh on show here. That took me back a little bit, because half the scenes are people either finishing the surf or going to the surf.
Yeah, when
So
there's absolutely no surf in the sea.
yeah, there's no waves going on at all. And they just come back going, oh, that was brilliant, that. And you're like,
Yeah,
it's a
Yeah.
river at the moment.
yeah, lots of bikinis,
Mm-hmm.
sunshine, wet hair.
Yes. Plenty for the eye, you would say.
Yes, which
Yeah.
can't be wrong. Let's not
No, it did help with the enjoyment of the show as well. Because, everybody is very good looking on that show. And
It's part of the they're selling a fantasy. They're
Mhm.
selling it. They're selling this place is idyllic,
yes,
aspirational. We all wish we looked like Justin.
yeah, and especially because I'm assuming he is in his 40s, maybe older as well. And like I run a lot, and I don't look like that at 40. I really, really try hard to look after myself, and I'm getting nowhere near that. I don't think I was even that in my 20s. So for him to still looking like that in his 40s, hats off to the guy.
Absolutely, but hard work. Lots of kale, and it's those waters. It's the Summer Bay waters. You'll have to come out with Sophie and I to Summer Bay. You'll be returning with the Summer Bay bod.
I'm not fucking eating kale though. No, I'm not doing the kale. It's devil's food.
Yeah, there's no, and I'm not getting a fucking Summer Bay bod no matter what. So there we go. There we go. Right, I think that wraps us up, doesn't it?
I think it does.
Anything else to get off your chest while you've got the opportunity?
Yeah, fuck it, might as well. I mean, I did warn you at the start I would try and take over your podcast.
And I said I'd let you.
I think the other thing with regards to Tanya that I touched on was Theo. He's the other end of the scale of someone having a real tough mental time right now. And I really liked what they did with that. I thought it was quite because soaps can be a bit tropey sometimes, and like you can, especially more back in the day, like they would just shoehorn these topics in, and then this character would have this problem. It was all very tropey, and whereas I think this is I think a lot of us I think we can all relate to times when we've struggled mentally in our lives. And I think this is seeing what Theo is going through at the moment is probably something maybe I can relate to. Is like, this guy is really trying to clutch at straws and figure out what's going. Like he's been on this drunk binge with this Valerie girl.
Valerie, yeah.
So he's been on this drug binge, and he's kind of coming down from that, and he's feeling really down about himself. He feels quite like he's let everybody around him down, and that makes him even feel worse about everything that's happened. And he's really trying to make it up to people around him and figure it. He's trying to figure out why he's done these things, and he's trying to he's going through sensible steps of doing it as well. Like he's been to therapy, and he's trying to I know it's something you do in Alcoholics Anonymous. I think one of the 7 steps is writing apology letters to the people that you've kind of betrayed during that time. And he's trying to do this with Leah and Justin. He's trying to write this letter because he stole money from them as well, I believe.
He stole money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it was a fee for the band to play at the wedding. Yeah. But it wasn't. It was to buy pills.
And he's ruined their honeymoon as well. And so he's feeling horribly guilty about this and trying to make up for what he's done, but then feeling that he might not be able to ever make up for that. And he's going through a really tough time, and it feels realistic because I feel like that's what you would do. Your mind would be going 1,000 different places, and you've got all these different thoughts going on. You can't quite put them into words just yet. And you see him writing this note, and he's every sentence he's scrubbed through because he's not there yet of putting it all together.
Yeah, what did you think of Justin sort of going opening his book though, and then telling Leah about it, and then
I wasn't a fan of that. That felt like an invasion of his privacy. Like you said, because it's clear he's struggling to try and put these words together, but he's actively working to it at the same time.
Yeah.
So for him to just go, oh, let's have a little nosy and look through, and then kind of confront him about it I feel like that set him back a little bit.
Yeah, because that's like you say, confront him, but also forcing him out. Like he can't. He's not ready. He's clearly not ready to articulate.
Yeah.
What he needs to say. And then you're sort of pressuring him. It's typical Leah. Leah does my absolute head in with this. She has just been into a mental facility herself recently. That's how she brought Valerie to the bay. Yeah. And I'm just like, you of all people should know. But she does. She's done this for years. She gets herself involved. And she just you need to see the world my way or no way. Yeah. And I'm really disappointed that they did that, the pair of them, because you're right. I think it's been done delicately, and I think it's the only way to get Theo out of it. There's been a build-up of that. So there's the drug stuff, the Valerie stuff. He ruined the honeymoon. He kicked off at the wedding. He's had all the pressure of being in the band. He and Kirby were an item at one point. That fell apart.
Oh, okay. So Theo's the front man, right?
Yeah, he's the front man.
See, I don't know if this is because he's just coming off his kind of drugs bender and he's having all these problems at the moment, but is he always this uncharismatic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big thing in the band. He couldn't do the interviews. That was a big anxiety thing because it's just not him. He's of the lot of them, he's the most inexperienced. He auditioned to get into the band. Okay. And his dad spent his dad is Leah's brother, and he lives with Leah now because his dad knocked him about. So
I did get some sort of family connection. There was a reason to we're kind of fostering him a little bit. Yeah,
so there's been this drug thing has been a long time coming. I actually personally think, and somebody else said this online, we could have had it sooner in his story. He's been on the show for ages now, and we could have had this sooner. And it would have been just as good, I think. So I feel
it have to be at the same time as the wedding and while everything else was going.
It'd be interesting because the actor Matt Evans, he's a musician. He's got songs on Spotify. He's coming over to the UK to do some gigs.
Oh, cool!
This summer. He's legit. He's been on The Voice Australia or something. I don't know. So he's got legit following. So it'll be interesting to see if he sticks around.
Or if he's just using this as a platform.
Yeah.
In
In Australia, there's two places to get a platform: Neighbours and Home and Away.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it seems.
Oh, that's cool. I might check him out actually. Then that'd be cool to go see him if he's knocking around our woods.
We're gonna go if he is. We're just waiting for it to be confirmed. He's confirmed for Belgium, and then he's already posted on Instagram that he's doing London, but he's gonna confirm the dates. We're gonna go if he's coming.
Okay. Well, if I'm allowed to tag along as a third, that'd be very nice.
Yeah, could be a giggle.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I really like that stuff that we did with Theo. Like, I'm not sold on him being a front man at all, but and I'm not 100% convinced Leah and Justin are the right people to kind of see him through this.
I agree. I totally agree. We're here. They've gone about this the whole wrong way. Look, their art's in the right place, and then they just sort of brush it off. Let's go play PlayStation, and I'll beat you. And you're like, right. Okay.
I mean, that can be
all is well.
That can be a part sometimes. Like doing something normal is a good part of it, but I feel like that's their only solution. We'll just play PlayStation and eat pizza or whatever, and it's a little bit more than that. Maybe if he is going to move on, then maybe he's going to. Hopefully, it'd be nice to see this guy kind of realize that he's articulated what he wants to, and then he's going to go out on his own and do it way and
I think
heal himself.
That'd be good. Yeah. And the band dynamic will be interesting because he got all their stuff impounded.
Yeah.
He got the van took off them, all their equipment took off them. How did the band come back from this? We're all hoping it doesn't.
Just gets quite up. So what? So talk me through the dynamic. So Theo is the lead singer. Remy looks like he plays guitar.
Yes.
I'm gonna guess that Kirby plays bass guitar.
She plays keyboard.
Okay.
Listen to a song first, you'll know what it sounds like. And she's also a songwriter. Her and Theo write the songs.
Okay.
Most of the time. Their best song was written by Eden, to be honest.
So
she's
the drummer, right?
No, they don't have a drummer. They have drums. They don't have a drummer.
That's how a fucking band doesn't have drums.
Yeah. I'll send you a link later.
Okay. So what the fuck did Eden do then? If she doesn't drum?
Eden plays guitar, yeah. As well.
They've gone for the two guitarist setup instead of the classic drummer setup.
There are drums though, you can hear them.
Is it a bit like originally where he had a guitar but he was never plugged in?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bloody hell. Okay. Yeah, send me those links. I don't know. I might be on the same wavelength as you now, that I don't want this band to ever get back together.
Yeah.
They can all do solo projects without drums.
You'll see what we mean. Yeah, it'd be like One Direction, going in all directions. Yeah.
But as long as the direction's away from me, that's
yes. I don't mind as long as I can't hear it. Yeah. Well, this has been fun. Thanks so much.
Thank you. No, it's really fun. Thank you for inviting me on to do this. Thank you for opening my eyes to, like I said, something that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise. And I'm really glad that I did it.
Hold me in your arms, don't let me go. I want to stay forever closer.